What's your view of God and the Bible? Check out this conversation over here between Bill Maher and Charlie Kirk having a discussion about religious belief. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll watch it together and then talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
Is there any part of the Bible you think is true?
Well,
no, it's
true.
an important question.
Well,
meaning, like when they were documenting King David, like
yes,
was King David a real figure?
There are shards of it that are, I'm sure. So, you know, you're saying to me, is there never a case of human delusion or mass delusion or people can?
Why there's suicide cults? Of course there are. No, I acknowledge that.
The capacity, the human capacity to believe what's not true, to believe what you want to believe, is infinite. I mean, you are literally the person I'm talking about at the very beginning of the movie Religulous, because the very first scene, I'm sitting in the car and I'm saying, the movie is not a spiritual quest. I mean, that's what we told them, so they'd sign the release. The movie is me saying, I don't know how it could be that so many intelligent people can wall off a part of their mind and believe in something that part of their mind must know is not true. That's the question I'm going for in Religulous. And like, you're obviously a super smart guy.
And respectfully, you go ahead, sure. No.
And again, I don't want to insult you on that. I appreciate you saying that.
No, I mean, Bill, have you seen me go to college campuses? There's nothing that can
but you understand my question, right?
Interestingly, ironically, I have the same struggle. I don't know how somebody as intelligent as you, and I'm not trying to offend you,
cannot believe in a virgin birth?
Time out, hold on. All of that takes faith, I acknowledge, but that all of the fine-tuning of our universe, if any of those fine-tunings were off, a famous scientist...
Some of them are off.
A famous scientist said, to believe that the universe and the earth in its current composition was an act of randomness would believe that a hurricane would go through a junkyard and assemble a 737 flight-ready Boeing.
He's wrong.
Okay, that's fine, but there are so many fine-tuning aspects to our existence that I think defy the idea that this is all randomness and all chance. Now,
you know, that's not logical. You're saying because I don't know the answer, I'm going to assume the answer must be that a divine intervention did it. That's not really a scientific way of looking at it.
The teleological view, not the cosmological view, is that all of these fine-tunings, when layered up one after the other, it defies, I think, reason to think that this is just a roll of the dice. That when you see a baby come into the world, when you see how we naturally heal, even consciousness itself, I think, is a pretty miraculous thing. To think that's all just a bunch of happy accidents, I think it's more rational to think that that's a byproduct of design.
You're saying some prime mover made it so these things happen. I would say, if a prime mover could do that, why don't skip all the suffering and why don't you just get us to where we're the perfect thing? Why you need things, I don't know, but okay, the perfect being right away. We're somehow on this journey to being, completely immortal and healthy, I guess, and completely moral and don't fuck each other up and don't have sex with children and all the bad things we do.
All the evil of our world.
Yeah,
right.
All the evil and the Holocaust. And why go through all that if you are a prime mover? I assume that means you can do anything, and just get us right to the end, and then we can just, why? Just a bunch of us walking around being perfect? I mean, why is that interesting to a God? The whole thing just don't make sense.
So that's a separate question, though, of whether or not there is something behind our existence. I mean, so we believe that the universe started with a Big Bang. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but that's not the beginning of things. That's just the beginning of what the known universe is. The big question is what was before that.
And we believe it's a being, a God. That's a constant.
And look, I mean, the misnomer about atheism is that we say, oh, there's no God. No, we just say we don't know. As Richard Dawkins always says, there's theism, which is belief in gods. And they used to believe in many, and then it got to one, and we just believe in one less. So there's just not
How would you differentiate that from agnosticism?
There isn't.
Okay.
That's another thing that's bullshit.
No, I don't. I'm just asking a good faith question.
No, I think a lot of atheists think that. A lot of people on my team with this, they have that view that, don't split hairs with the atheists and the agnostics. It's like, we're on some part of, I don't know, and I'll never know, so I really don't think about it a lot. I don't get up for church. I try to be a good person because I just think intrinsically it's good for society. It's good for me to be a good person as much as I can. And I don't need the threat of the pitchfork in the ass to do it.
Can I ask a question? So how
Ow!
But you even acknowledge, though, that some people act better if they feel as if they'll be judged eternally.
Totally.
Okay, no, that's a big admission. But
yes.
How do you think society best determines what is good?
That's a great question. I mean, isn't that what government is always wrestling with? What makes society good?
Do you think, even as an atheist, the Ten Commandments, the right side of the Ten Commandments is a good place to start?
The right side.
Well, because the left side, I think you'd have a big problem, right?
I have a problem with 8 of the 10 because only 2 of them are laws.
You got a problem with 8 of the 10?
2 of them are laws. Only 2.
What do you mean?
Don't kill.
And don't steal. Okay.
And don't steal.
Sure.
This idea that God is this...
But you're good with those 2.
The first 4 are just jealous God shit. It's just like, you know what?
No,
God,
honoring your parents is not jealous God stuff.
God's like a pimp who's in the next room and he's like, who you on the phone with there, girl? I guess I'm testing that.
Hold on, but no, I'm not offendable on this, but I think you could, I know you made fun of it in Religulous, but there's something beautiful about not working for a day.
Oh,
like honoring the Sabbath.
A week is even better.
But
the Sabbath. No, I mean, Sabbath
but
is...
slowing down and saying that we're not going to toil for a day.
But why would you need a religion to get to that? Why would you need a religion to, hey, let's not kill each other and take a day off? I don't need a threat or a carrot for that. It's just so intrinsic. It sort of reminds me of the beginning of the Declaration of Independence.
If it's intrinsic, then why is it that a lot of countries that don't have Christianity struggle to come to these realizations? That
Bill Maher is a sharp guy and typically has some interesting things to say, but when it comes to his understanding of God and the Bible, he's more glib than grounded. Let's be clear, mocking faith doesn't mean debunking faith. He says earlier in the interview that belief, that faith is intellectually embarrassing. Is that really true? Some of the greatest minds in history, Newton, Pascal, Maimonides, are all believers in God. They all believed in God. Faith isn't the enemy of reason. It answers the question that reason alone cannot answer. He mocks the 10 Commandments. He calls them petty or outdated. But those very same principles are the principles that founded Western civilization. The idea of don't murder or honor your parents, they're not fan fiction. These are moral foundations that ground our society. What would be the replacement? What replacement would Bill Maher suggest for them? Just a hodgepodge of personal opinions? On some of the more extended lecture-style videos on this channel, we go through debunking some of the arguments that Bill Maher is making in this specifically and kind of really pull it apart. In the end, Bill Maher's worldview is one of cynicism. The Bible, religion, is one of responsibility. He offers clever lines, but the Torah offers a way to live. Choose wisely. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.